You would be surprised. Okay, so like this was the funniest thing. So for CES, I even brought it for NAMM. I brought my vinyl case, right? So I brought my own vinyl to listen to and CDs, right? You guys know what CDs are, right? And I also brought a thumb drive with DSD and FLAC files on there, just so that I could hear songs that I know on these big speakers or whatever speakers, And just like what I say to you guys out there, if you're gonna, thinking about buying some speakers, bring your own music, listen to the speakers, right? Because you already know. So like, I put in this guy. Some of them very, very staunchly will not let you play whatever.
Yeah.
They have
only their music.
Right. Right. So like I was like, hey, I got something to play on this. It was an esoteric setup with some cantos or something like that.
Okay.
And like a $60,000 equipment rack, and I don't know, the speakers were $50,000 a pair or whatever. And he's like, let me ask my boss if we can play something. And then we were sitting there, and he was playing some like smooth jazz, and I'm like, oh god, this is just not good. Yeah. And
bump that in the elevator.
Yeah. Right. I don't need a $110,000 system to play jazz.
No bass.
And then so he was talking to somebody else, and then like after like a few minutes, I'm like, let's get out of here because this is not going anywhere, and we got other things to do. But went to play those big red speakers I told you about, the 300-pound ones, $125,000 system. Yeah. The guy had a bunch of CDs, he had vinyl, he had all kinds of cool stuff. And I was like, hey man, I see you're playing CDs. I got a CD, can you play it? He's like, yeah, sure. And so I give him the Crystal Method Vegas from 1997, first track. Fantastic electronics, just got all kinds of cool elements. And after the song was done, the speaker sounded great. It sounded great on that system. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey man, what was that? And I was like, oh, it's the Crystal Method. It's their first album. This is the first track on there. And he's like, okay. He took a picture. I went to go sit down. 3 other people, old white dudes, were like, hey, what is that song? And like, one of them was like, he's like, yeah, I heard you're a DJ. He's like, you even got your records and your case and everything. Yeah. He's like, you definitely know music. This is a great demo track. I'm like, I know. That's why I brought it on. Right. I have plenty of CDs, but I only brought 3. One was that Florence and the Machine that's overly bright.
Okay.
And
Hotel California. That's you told me you always bump that one.
Yeah. Well, I have
the
that
live
on
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's purely to test imaging, right? Because that's from a DVD. When you're watching the DVD, there's 4 people on stage, and the singer's not on center. He's off center to the left. Mm-hmm. So when I close my eyes and listen, I can hear guitar, bass, vocal. And you need to hear it that way. So that's just to test imaging. And of course, they mic'd the underneath of a conga drum.
Yeah.
So when that conga drum hits, you got to feel bass. If you don't feel bass on that conga drum hit, pass those speakers.
That's kind of a cool trick because that is from Hell Freezes Over.
Right.
And because you can see the video, I'm assuming that it should sound kind of like how it looks, right?
Yeah. It is. It's one of the best recordings too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I used to use that track all the time. I like it when the crowd cheers, you can kind of hear it, like should be surround soundy.
Right, but there's a lot of it gets the really, really high up there. Yeah. So if you have some speakers that are too bright in the highs or boost the highs a little bit naturally, you're gonna get some
how about that wind? Do you hear that wind? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So all the little details.
Yeah.
So you got to know your songs. You got to know the tracks.
Yeah. And then that Hotel California from Hell Freezes Over has been used for a long time.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and that's why they use it.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's not like you invented that.
No.
I didn't invent that.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
When I worked at Circuit City back in I think it was 2000, I remember that used to be the demo that they'd play. So.